Let me now shift my focus to West Asia. Palestinians are on the brink of the third intifada. It means an uprising or a rebellion. The intifada may have already begun. Why am I saying that? Because the West Bank is on the boil again. An Israeli raid at a militant hideout left 3 militants dead. Israel says they carried out attacks against Israeli settlers in the West Bank. The Israeli raid angered the locals and they clashed with the Israeli raid party. 8 Palestinians were killed. More than 100 have been injured. What's even worse, the violence and anger is spreading. Take a look at this next detailed report.
Palestinians are infuriated and they seem to be united. After the Israeli raids, Palestinians have gone on a massive strike. In West Bank, Gaza and Jerusalem, they have shut their shops. They are venting their anger against Israel.
It is a day of mourning period and a strike. How would we be able to work or eat or drink? And our brothers in Nablus are being killed. We should stand in solidarity with them, with the people of Nablus. And there should be a general strike. And thank God the strike is in all the West Bank and Gaza.
Hamas, meanwhile, resorted to more violent means. The militant group fired rockets into Israel from Gaza. Israel retaliated with airstrikes. One thing is clear now, there is rising anger on both sides. Numbers never lie. For instance, support for a two-state solution in Israel and Palestine is at an all-time low. That's according to a survey this year. Yet another survey says that the third intifada is on the horizon. 61% of Palestinians believe so. So do 65% of Israeli Jews. Before going further, let's take a look at the history of intifadas. The first intifada, or the Palestinian uprising, began in 1987. It was triggered after an Israeli Defense Force or IDF truck hit a civilian car. 4 Palestinians were killed in that incident. Palestinians hit the streets with angry protests. The protests became an everyday affair. Israeli forces reacted with brute force. The protests and civil disobedience lasted for 5 years. More than 4,000 people, mostly Palestinians, were left dead. The second intifada began in 2000. That was after Israeli opposition politician Ariel Sharon's controversial visit to the al-aqsa mosque. The Jews call the site Temple Mount, but al-aqsa is considered the third holiest site in Islam. Palestinians took to the streets. They demonstrated angrily. They pelted stones at Israeli forces. Suicide bombings and targeted killings also took place. Again, Israel came down heavily. By the time the second intifada ended in 2005, the death toll was close to 4,000. Even a minor provocation is enough to trigger an intifada, and there have been more than one this year. The Palestinians are already furious because of ever more Israeli settlements. They are illegal under international law. But Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't care. He's expanding them. Not only that, he's emboldening Israel's far-right elements. In fact, his cabinet comprises several far-right ministers. Netanyahu has announced a slew of measures targeting Palestinians, like stripping families of militants of residence rights in Jerusalem, taking away their social security and healthcare benefits, distributing gun permits to Israelis, and bulldozing homes of Palestinian militants. And the Palestinians want an eye for an eye. They are targeting synagogues. They are attacking Israeli settlers. The militant-minded ones have stepped up attacks against Israeli forces. Make no mistake about it, another intifada may be the final nail in the coffin of a two-state solution. It will be a polarizing global event for sure. It will be the last thing a conflict-ridden world needs. Unfortunately, neither Israel's Prime Minister nor the Palestinians seem to be in a mood to back down, at least for now.
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.